Hey, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another video. Alright, as you can see, this is clearly not a reaction video, to which my channel is now basically become. So it was never my intention for my channel to become a reaction channel. Just, you know, when I started doing reactions, people responded to them pretty well and enjoyed them. And who am I to say no to what the people want? So I've pretty much been mainly doing reactions to, you know, Hell of a Boss and Huntsman Hotel, Ruby, things like that, which I've been super enjoying, by the way. I'm not saying that as in you know, oh, I didn't want to do reactions, but you know, those were my most popular videos, so here we are. No, I do really enjoy doing the reactions, and people, like I said, people really enjoy them, so who am I to say no to that? But it is just anime and animation related, so today, I'm sure you've already read in the title, but today we are going to rank every form of Naruto, which isn't just, you know, his 1 tails, 2 tails, 3 tails, Sage Mode, all that stuff. It does include what clothing he wears, and Naruto Unleashed and then Naruto Shippuden and The Last and Boruto and stuff like that. So it does have all of them. So I've been really excited to do this one. I've been trying to think of what I'm going to put them in, but then I was like, why do that? That's so boring. Why not just go into it half-cocked, as you will, and just, you know, just go for it, instead of being like, yes, I've thought about it well, I know exactly where I'm going to put everything, it's going to be great. No, I'd rather just look at it and just give my fresh, raw opinions about them. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, obviously it does have quite a few forms of Naruto, which is going to be interesting. I mean, they couldn't have picked worse pictures to put in. I mean, obviously I can tell what they are, but it just looks stupid. I mean, you've literally got a picture of Naruto's crotch right down here, which is nice. And I've just realized, one moment. Alright, sorry, I made it so you can actually see my cursor. I was then pointing at his crotch oh, Naruto's crotch, realizing you can't even see where I'm pointing. But yeah, that's obviously from The Last, but it's just literally a picture of Naruto's dick with his hand in his pocket, which is cool. I like that. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So, I think this is 2 tails. So this is Naruto when he has the cloak around him, but I think this is only 2 tails, which is really difficult to see, and I thought it was 3 tails for a second there, but I'm pretty sure that is down there. So, let's go with 2 tails. So for that, I'm literally just going to give it a B. I don't know, it's just, you've got all the forms of Naruto, and the 2 tails and the 3 tails and the 1 tails, they're all just kind of the same thing. So, I don't know, it isn't the most exciting thing in the world to just see Naruto with, you know, the chakra around him. It is cool, don't get me wrong. I will also be this will also be impacting the story as well. So if it impacted the story well and it was a hyped moment, then it'll be going higher. It's not just the way he looks. But I don't really think that was it was a bit of a meh thing. Because if I'm not mistaken, the first time you see him do this, it is a pretty hyped moment. If I'm not mistaken, it's when Deidara, spoiler alert, Deidara obviously killed Gaara after they extracted the 1 tails from him. And then Naruto and Kakashi go after him, and Kakashi, with his Mangekyo Sharingan, takes down one of Deidara's arms, so he's armless at the minute. And Naruto basically ends up going 1 tails, pummels the dude, realizing it's a clone, just gets even more angry, and I'm pretty sure that's when the 2nd tail comes out for the first time. I could be mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, that is the first time it happens. So yeah, a pretty cool moment, but I'd say a B. I'd say a B. Alright, now this one. I'm giving an S tier. So, this is when Naruto was fighting Haku. Naruto and Sasuke were fighting Haku, and Sasuke jumped in front of Naruto to save him. And then, in a bit of rage, the dude just gets, the seal opens the tiniest little crack, just the tiniest bit, and Kuruma's chakra leaks out, and he goes absolutely insane. Again, in terms of the form itself, it's cool, but realistically, it's just Naruto with the Kuruma eyes, and that's pretty much it. And obviously the sharp claws and what have you. But the impact that moment had, because I think it's episode 13, 14. It's quite early on in the show, but it is the first time you ever see him actually use it. And when I was a kid, all I would watch. It was the coolest shit ever. And they used to have Naruto playing cards. Coolest things ever, but unfortunately they, you know, I don't know what happened to them. I ended up losing them, which is really sad. And they're really expensive nowadays to buy because I don't even think they do them anymore. But yeah, I used to have that card. And it was my favorite card. It would go on the top of the deck. I wouldn't play the actual card game because ain't nobody else had it. But it was cool nonetheless. Right, moving on. This, right, again, you know what it is? I've got to give it a C tier. I've got to give... So basically this is... Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. This is Hokage Naruto from Boruto. So... He became the Hokage. Epic. You know, story's done. That's how it should have been. You know, he's Boruto and Himawari exist. He's become the Hokage. End the show there. But the cloak just, it annoys me. What Naruto should have had is a long cloak like his dad, but like an orange one. Because that would have looked sick. His clothing, I suppose, is fine. It's just, you know, he's keeping up with the orange aesthetic or whatever, the orange and black. And then Naruto's got his hair cut and it's all short and he looks old. I don't like it. He should have looked like Minato. But let's carry on. C tier for that one. S tier. S tier, 100%. So, this is the whole Kurama, like the full avatar that he creates. So once Naruto and Kurama become friends, they get this avatar. And I just think it looks cool as fuck. I still technically don't know. Maybe I do know, but I can't think off the top of my head. I don't actually know why Naruto's Kurama looks like that. Like why he has like a chakra form. While everybody else, when they turn into the 2 tails, 3 tails, 4 tails, whatever it is, they just turn into the normal beast. Like they'll turn into Gyuki or Chome or Matatabi or whatever it is. But Naruto, when he turns into Kurama, gets like a chakra avatar type thing, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I would much prefer him to look like that than to look like Kurama. I don't know if they've done it to the show to make Naruto really stand out. I thought for the longest time it's because he only had half of Kurama, so he couldn't actually transform the full thing. But no, because even when he got both of the halves, he still looked like that. Again, maybe it's just a thing for Kurama, but I'm not complaining about it. I absolutely love the way it looks. Hell yeah. Yes. The last. Now, people... I saw loads of people bitch and moan because Naruto's hair got cut in the last. And don't get me wrong, I would much preferred it to be long. Kind of like Minato's. But I didn't think it looked bad. Plus, Naruto's like full black like jacket that he wears with the orange pants. I think those are the same pants from Shippuden. Looks badass. I don't know what it is, but I think he looks great in the last. They should have kept up with that aesthetic, but they I think they kind of butchered him in Boruto, I'm not going to lie to you. But, what can you do? Take over and you're Mr. Beast. Look, dude, if you're listening right now, if you take over Naruto and they redo it, just make Naruto look badass, alright? Just for me. Much appreciated. Anyways, moving on. So we've got Naruto 8 Tails. So this is pretty much when he was coming out of the planetary devastation. A super cool moment. I don't think it looks that great because I'm not going to lie to you. He kind of looks like one of those weird naked Japanese, Egyptian cat things. You know what I'm talking about? Like those naked cats? Hairless cats. They're weird. I don't like it. But it looked cool. Like during the show when he was actually coming out the planetary devastation, when that was basically Pain's like, ace in the hole. Super cool moment. And of course you thought at that point Naruto was going to turn like full 9 tails, which of course he didn't because, you know, my boy Minato came over and saved him. But yeah, super cool moment. The form itself was a bit lackluster. It's just, you know, 8 tails with a naked cat attached to it. Essentially. Oh, this one. So, look. This was a mix. I do have 2 favorites. Like, as you can see, I made like a personal favorite thing up here. But I'm going to leave that for just like my actual personal favorite and not have multiple of them. The Guru, like, Ashura mode that Naruto does at the end when he fights Sasuke is super cool. The whole, you know, Sasuke getting Indra's arrow and getting that cool looking Susanoo armor and stuff like that. badass. And I'm not going to lie to you, I thought it looked cool as fuck. But Naruto, when he releases Kurama and he has like all of that nature chakra, and you can see like how thick his tails are because of all of the nature chakra inside of him. And he lets that go, and Naruto like, obviously absorbs it all, and he gets like the 3 Kuramas and just form into one. And then he gets the, what I like to call the yin-yang Rasen Shuriken, because it doesn't technically have a name. He had Indra's arrow, Naruto just chucked them, and I was like, you've missed an opportunity to either call them Ashura's Rasengans, or, you know, yin-yang Rasengan. But he never actually calls them anything. I don't know if they actually have an official name or not, but nonetheless, I absolutely love when he'd done that. Oh, just that fight in general. Sorry, but that fight in general was just unreal. Alright, B for this one. So this is when Naruto was in the last, and he, you know, he still has his like Kurama chakra mode thing that he can do. And I don't know what it was, man. It just didn't look that good. Like, he looked like he was wearing yellow overalls. That's all I could think when I was watching it. I love the way he looked in the last, like his actual form. Not his form, his actual like just aesthetic, his normal look. But I thought like his Kurama mode was completely underwhelming. He does do something cool, which I don't think he ever does again. Which he can never do again. If you know, you know. Which is he released Kurama, and like Kurama just did its own thing while he was, you know, running around in like, the chakra mode and all that, which was cool. Not once does he ever do that again. But yeah, I'd give it a B. I don't really think it was anything special. KCM 2, I'll give that an A. KCM 2 was badass. I wasn't the biggest fan of KCM 1, which we'll get to in 3 turns. But KCM 2 I thought looked great. 1, massive impact in the story because it's when Kurama and Naruto actually kind of became friends, and he released Kurama and he got like his full, I'd say his full half power, if that makes sense, because it was only half a Kurama. But KCM 2 with the huge cloak, looking like his dad, like when that moment when he just bats away, like what is it, like 6, I think it was 6 tail beast bombs. He just slaps them all away, and Kakashi looks at him and he's, that moment, unbelievable. But yeah, the cloak and everything just does it for me. A, 100%. This, again, I'm going to put as an A. I thought it was badass. So basically, if you don't know what this part is, it's when he goes to confront Nagato for the first time. So he's just defeated Pain. He got his Sage mode back so that he could pinpoint where he was and obviously go in, you know, not half-cocked as like just normal Naruto. So he uses Sage mode, he goes in, he gets into the tree and all that. And Nagato thinks he's cool and shoots Naruto with the chakra rod, to which Naruto will let him do it. And he was like, oh, at this close quarters, you know, I can control your entire movements. And then Naruto looks up, and this is the first time Naruto's chakra and Kurama's chakra mixed together. And he gets like, it's basically Sage mode, but with like Kurama's slits at the same time, which becomes like his normal thing later on. But my good god, is it cool as fuck. 100% giving it an A. It's not exactly the most like aesthetically pleasing or looking one, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have that big of an impact on the story, because like all he does is like look up at him, then sort of reverses the chakra, like Kurama's chakra starts going into Nagato and he's like freaking the fuck out. But yeah, nonetheless, it looks cool as hell, and it was the first time that ever happened, so I'm going to give it an A. Every time I watch that moment, I am super hyped for it, so I can't not give it an A. I'm going to put these two together. I know I said I wasn't going to do that, but they're in the same fight, so I feel like it's best to just talk about it at the same time. So the 4 tails, I'm going to have to give... I don't know. Oh, no, sorry, I was wrong. Never mind. Cancel it. I was wrong. This doesn't happen in the same fight. 4 tails first happened when he fought Orochimaru on Tenchi Bridge. I'm lying to you. So I'm going to give it a B, right? Which some people might be, you know, like, what the fuck, why? There is a badass moment. It's one of my favourite looks that Naruto ever gives, but it's more so, I'll talk about it with the 3 tails, because it's more so to do with sort of 3 going into 4. which is when like his skin starts peeling off and his eyes are fully red. Oh, unbelievable. But I don't know what it was about the Orochimaru fight, but it was very lackluster for me. It's probably my least favorite Kurama fight. I don't know why, but I've just never really been all that into it. It's cool, and don't get me wrong, when Orochimaru like gets the 3 Rashomon gates in Naruto, just obliterates all of them, and the preceding like 3 miles behind it. Badass. But I don't know what it is. Like, I think it looks alright, but it obviously just kind of looks a bit lackluster. To me, anyways. People might like it, and if you do like it, I do apologize for shitting all over it, but yeah, I'd give it a B. This, I would give an A, though. The Pain fight is one of my favourite fights in Naruto, and for good reason. It's a lot of people's favourite fights in Naruto, because, you know, apart from the animation being a bit janky at times, the fight, the impact, the implications of it, everything is great. And the fact that Naruto goes from... I always love the fact that he goes from 3 tails into 4 tails during the Orochimaru fight because he wants Sasuke back, and he's that angry at Orochimaru for taking Sasuke that he slowly turns into the 4 tails. Now, that's usually done for dramatic flair, like, for example, when Naruto uses the Rasen Shuriken for the first time. Big man, like, oh, you've got Kakazu, like, in the middle of it, getting jabbed by all of the needles and things, and it looks cool and badass, and Tsunada's like, never use that again because it'll break your arm and you'll not be able to use it because the chakra points will just fuck up in your arm. And then proceeding from that, he's just constantly using it, and it's literally just a big explosion, and that's pretty much it. Could be the same thing, but yeah, when Hinata, when my baby gets struck, straight into 4 tails. From that, straight into 6 tails. Then 7, then 8, then almost 9, and then of course Minato, my boy, comes and saves him. But I think like 6 tails looks super cool, like with a skeleton and stuff that like goes around him. I thought it was pretty badass, and it's unique because, like, you know, he just looks kind of like a small red fox when he turns 4 tails. I assume the 5 tails is around about the same, but 6 tails with like the skeleton and all that, it gives it a different aesthetic. I absolutely love it. KCM1. I don't know. I'll give it a B. It's kind of like the same as the last. I think just the look of it's a bit lackluster. Now, when I first saw it, of course, I was hyped beyond belief because, you know, it's the first time you've ever seen someone like that before. Technically, unless you watch the Chikara filler, when Naruto actually does it then, kind of. But, you know, we're not talking about filler here. So, Naruto basically gets control of Kurama by defeating him, which impacts the story because, one, he gets to meet his mom for the first time, which is great. But I think the actual form itself just looks a bit like the whole black thing looks pretty cool on them, like the things. But when I compare them to, you know, the Ashura mode and KCM2 and, you know, Sage mode and stuff like that, I just think it looks not as good. But that's just me. Again, with the One Tails, I give it an A just because it's, when he does this, it is, again, the first time you ever see him, like, Kurama's chakra actually form around him. And then he, you know, lifts up and just punches Sasuke square in the face. It's the most glorious punch ever. But, again, it's just kind of the form, like, the way it looks is a bit meh. But, obviously, like I said, the fact that Sasuke and Naruto are having this fight in the final valley, and, you know, the one-upping each other each time, like, Sasuke is kicking the shit out of Naruto, then Naruto is kicking the shit out of Sasuke. Sasuke gets the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, kicks the shit out of Naruto. Then Naruto gets that in the kind of uneven grounds or whatever. Then you got the Vermilion Rasengan versus the Black Chidori. It's great. The actual fight and the impact on that, I love. But the form itself, it's just Naruto with the slits in his eyes, with, you know, Kurama's kind of chakra around him. Still looks cool nonetheless, and the impact, like I said, it's great. But I'll give it an A. All right, so the next one, these pictures aren't exactly the easiest, but I'm pretty sure this is Boruto Naruto. So if I'm not mistaken, this is when he's saving everyone from Momoshiki. I could be dramatically wrong in this one, so let me know if I am wrong. But I'll give the form an A. I think it looks all right, but again, it's a bit meh. Well, I've seen it loads of times before that. Not that the impact is any less badass, because he literally saves everyone by, like, surrounding the big stadium that they're in, doing the tuning exams in, like, Kurama's tails, and just completely gets all of the impact himself. Naruto's just badass. Every time he's on screen, he's just constantly badass. So I'd give it an A. It looks alright. The context in which it happens is cool as fuck. I'll give it a B. Pure nostalgia reasons. Obviously, this is like base Naruto. This is like everyone that, you know, started watching Naruto watched it when he looked like this. He's got the, you know, the orange and white top and pants and everything. Yeah, it's just a normal look for Naruto. Like when you just think Naruto, that's probably the look you go for, either that or the one from Shippuden. You won't really think, oh, Sage Mode Naruto straight away. So it's just his normal look. I can't say anything more about it. But yeah, badass. I mean, he looks cool. Don't get me wrong. He's got a neck warmer. Could be in the Lonely Island. Moving on. So we got Naruto in Sage Mode. Alright, okay, this one. So again, I apparently like to give backstory. So for those that don't know, basically this is when Naruto saves Guy from Madara. 1, my dude dabbed. I don't care what anybody says. He dabbed when he kicked that back. 2, extremely badass moment because he had just met Hagoromo. The truth-seeking orbs can't be touched, but Naruto just kicked the back like it was nothing. And then, of course, when the camera pans up, he has like Sage Mode, Kurama Mode, but without the pigments in his eyes, which is basically like true Sage Mode. So this is basically when Naruto gets true Sage Mode. Of course, at this point, that's all he has. He just kind of does that. Like, that's just the look that he has. But the impact on it, unbelievable. And of course, he then starts using like Son Goku's Rasen Shuriken and stuff like that, the lava style Rasen Shuriken, and he just beats the shit out of Madara. It's absolutely glorious. S tier, 100%. As for this, again, Naruto B tier. It's just a normal look for Naruto. Like I can't exactly give it A or S because like he just looks normal. I guess I'll give it an A just because I think it looks better than like the normal Naruto Unleashed costume. So I'll give it an A. I'd say that's pretty fair. It's just Naruto's normal look. I can't really say much about it. I think it looks better than his normal one, so that's where that goes. This one again, right? Okay. I'll give it an S tier, just because it's basically Naruto in KCM 2, but when he first merges Sage Mode with it properly. This isn't the same as when he did it when he was fighting Naga. He kind of did it by an accident, but this is when Kurama reminds him of it, and he's like, look, if you remember, you've already done this once before. And then I think this is when Kurama's like gathering up the Sage Mode, because obviously he can gather nature energy for Naruto, so Naruto can move around while Kurama absorbs the nature energy. Pardon me. Which is why it's so cool. And he does it like twice as fast. So Naruto, if he was strong there, he's like 3 times as strong there. Unbelievable. And I like the way it looks as well. The pigments and stuff in his eyes and the Kurama slits and everything. Badass. Love it. 3, I give it a B. Again, it's kind of the same as Sorry, it's kind of the same as Naruto's Cloak 1 and 2, but you know, just 3 tails. It looks a bit more bubbly and a bit more badass, and like I said, there is a badass moment where Naruto's skin starts peeling off, and it's like one of my favorite looking Naruto's because the dude looks scary as fuck. But it's just the same as the rest of them, but 1 extra tail. So it's going in B. Now this one. My personal favorite. 6-path Sage Mode Naruto. The look. Everything about it, I absolutely love. The truth-seeking orbs behind him. The rods that he holds. This picture is a personal favorite. You know, he's got Minato's kunai and stuff in his mouth. So it looks fucking cool as shit. But the actual look of it itself, they're like black, because the fact that his skin is just kind of normal coloured, but everything else, like his clothes and all that around him, are like glowing, like his hair's glowing. His obviously it's like black, like the clothes are black on the inside, but then his coat and all that is all like lit up. I like everything about it. Everything about it is my personal favourite. Absolutely glorious. If it's not your personal favourite, you have your own opinion. Even if it is wrong, you can have it. 6-path Sage mode is just the best. Moving on, though. Alright, I'm going to give... Oh, actually, I don't know. No, right. I'll give it a B. I love this fight. Naruto versus Neji. And like I say, the impact... This is basically when Neji kind of turned his life around when he realized that Naruto, being, you know, this kid that has no talent, and, you know, everybody used to hate him and used to think, you know, he was a no talent hack, if you will. He just looks... It's just him proving Neji wrong and saying that he doesn't have to, you know, conform to society. He can be whoever he wants to be. And he had blocked all of his chakra points, and Naruto still managed to use Kuruma's chakra to just burst out of that and just, you know, proceed to then kick his ass. And then, but the thing I like about this fight is he didn't just, because everyone's like, oh, if you think about it, if you just took Kuruma and his chakra away from Naruto, Naruto would be nothing. He'd lose to everybody. And I'm like, no, 'cause, look, one, Naruto still has a crap ton of chakra, right? Being an Uzumaki, he does have talent. You can't say he doesn't. In a one day, he basically learned a forbidden jutsu. Three. If you take the Byakugan away from Neji or the Sharingan away from Sasuke or whatever, like, what are they? Like, that's what makes them special. It's the same thing. You can't say, oh, if Naruto didn't have Kuruma, he'd be nothing, but everybody else would still be the same. Like, no, that's bullshit. The strongest person who would probably be there if you take everything away would be Lee, because his whole thing was just I'm gonna work off of my back to become stronger, and I only have taijutsu, so I will make taijutsu my bitch. That is pretty much what Lee was all about, and that's why he was so strong and so well respected. So I'd say Lee was probably the strongest out of all of them, but you can't say Naruto's weak just because he didn't have Kuruma's chakra. Like, just shut up. Shut up. Badass moment. He beat Neji using his brain, not Kuruma's chakra. All up here. Last but not least, Sage Mode Naruto. S tier. It's gotta be S tier. Look, it's one of my favourite looks for Naruto. The pigment, the red cloak that he wears with the scroll on his back, the impact in that story, the fact that Naruto was about to fight the person that killed his master and killed his sensei at this point as well. Of course, Kakashi comes back, but at that point, you know, he's pretty much killed everybody that Naruto ever loved or ever cared about. You know, minus, you know, Sakura and, you know, Tsunade, whatever. But this is basically Naruto being like, look, I'm about to kick a bitch's ass. And again, you can go, oh, well, I mean, if you think about it, Naruto didn't actually win. He almost died. Kuruma had to save him again. Shut the fuck up. Alright, shut the fuck up. Don't get me started when it comes to Naruto, alright? I'll not end. But I think the look is badass as well. Like the cloak and everything. Badass. But yes, that is that. That's everything done. There are a few different ones. Like there's a Naruto version where, like in the movies, he has like a summer version where like he has like shorts and stuff on. I'd give that like a B again. It's just kind of normal wear, but you know, that's the only time you ever really see it. So it's a bit different, but again, it's just normal Naruto. Although one of those movies has a pretty badass Naruto moment. Alright, just want to quickly jump in. Yeah, when I was editing the video, I realized that they haven't actually put Baryon mode Naruto in there, which is absolutely nuts. Like, I don't understand why they didn't. Maybe this was made before Baryon mode came out. I have no idea. But I would give Baryon mode a solid, like, S+ tier. It was absolutely insane watching that go on. It's one of the best parts of Boruto. What came afterwards absolutely sucked ass. Again, if you don't know, turn off. If you haven't watched Boruto, it's a massive spoiler, but basically Kuruma ends up dying, kind of gives up his life to give Naruto this massive boost in power. But Baryon mode is beyond insane. It gives a huge physical boost to his attacks and everything. Every attack that he lands shaves off the life of the person that does it. And he was fighting Utsutsuki, and they aren't affected as much. And even then, I think at the time, Ishiki had like, what? Was it Ishiki or Jigen? I can't remember. I think it was Ishiki. He had like, what, half an hour left to live, and Naruto shaved it down to like 2 minutes or something like that. But if it was a normal person, if Naruto had punched them, he probably would have just shaved off their entire life there and then. Basically, when Kurama was describing it, he was like, don't do any unnecessary movements. So it kind of reminds me of Ultra Instinct in the fact that, you know, he only does movements that are necessary so that he doesn't burn any more like chakra than he has to. Pretty cool. Would 100% give it like an S+ tier. There wasn't even a ranking on there, but I think it's above S tier. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. Goodbye. But yes, that is my tier list. I hope you guys did enjoy listening to me ramble on about Naruto for the past half an hour. If you guys, obviously, if you feel like different about where I've put everything or where you would put things or anything that I've said during this episode, please do feel free to leave a scathing comment. But if you do agree, please do leave a like, leave a nice comment, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I will see you in the next video. It'll probably be a reaction, because why the hell not? I'm banging to Ruby right now. Yeah. Goodbye.